Alright guys, we finished welding the braces in and re-welding the edges, make a better connection between them. Two on this side, two on that side, just like before. And now I'm working on these heavy duty 3/8 plates. I'm probably way too big for what its purpose is, but I don't plan to break this thing anytime soon. So I drilled a hole, half-inch hole, which took forever through this thing. And I grounded off the edges, made a little divot right up in here. Can you see that? Right up in there, see the little difference there? So the breather hole, which is on the other side of this, can pass through this side, because what this is going to look like here is what it's going to be like everywhere. And I kind of want it to be completely sealed off on the inside, but I don't think that'd be that big of a deal, because we're going to put some paint on the inside of this, protect it all from rusting and stuff. And you can't paint it once everything is welded on there. So what I decided to do is get some engine enamel up to 550 degrees. Morning guys. This has been a while since I posted a video. At that time of year, holidays and stuff, trying to get everything figured out with the pandemic going on. But I hope everyone stayed safe, and I hope you enjoyed your holiday season. It is early on a Sunday morning. I got the heater going, and we're going to be working on the rear axle today. I got the plates tacked on, and then I realized that I forgot to put the breather in. So we're figuring that out today. And we are also figuring out where to put our brake tee. As you know, or maybe you don't, this brake tee, the breather goes through that hole there, and it separates it, or spaces it out, so that the spacer, the brake tee acts as a spacer and also holds it in place. So it's like a two-in-one deal. But because where we're putting the truss and the way that I'm building it, it's not going to work there. So we're going to have to relocate it. So I thought I would have to go through the top of the square bar that's the truss, to get it to fit. So I got this bolt here, and it actually fits in there perfect. But unfortunately I will not be able to use this due to it's not long enough. But if I can find a shorter one, I'll just go through the side, and I'll explain further here in a minute why that going through the side will be a little better and easier than through the top. But let's get over here and we'll get into it. So there's the breather. I got a nut on there right now to space it out, and kind of didn't mean to get it in there permanently, but it's kind of hard to get to, but you can kind of see it there. Alright, so this is the Dana 35. This is, imagine this looking from the back of the Jeep over there. So it'd be the diff's facing that way. And so this is where the breather is, with a nut on there to space it out. I was just testing it, and then I couldn't get it off, and I was just like, you know what? It works. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But I'm going to drill a hole back here, and this is where, and on the other side, I'm going to have the T there. The reason I'm going to have the T on the outside is because that's the same area of where it's going to be at without the truss being there. So it's going to be kind of on the brake line is going to come in from the front and go right there. And plus I can raise it up a little bit, so hopefully I don't have to replace the brake line and get a longer one, but I'll probably have to. Also, when I have the brake lines off for the brakes on the ends, I can have the brake line run through the front, so when you look at it from the back, there's not a brake line there. I don't know, that's just a preference. I don't know, I think that look a little bit more slick, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I'm not sure. But I was afraid that I'd have to break off some more welds so I can take the plate off to do this, but I think I can do it while it's on there. I'm actually going to see if I have a bolt that's going to work with the brake tee. And once I find one, I'll let you guys know. Okay, so I did find a bolt and nut. It is a little loose. You can see that little bit of movement there, but it'll be fine. It actually had a locking nut on there, and I don't want that because I'm not going to be able to access this nut in the future once everything is on. I'm going to weld. I'm going to put drill the hole, figure out what size I need, drill the hole, put this on there in place, tack the nut, take everything off, and then weld the nut fully in with the bolt still in it, so nothing moves enough where it messes up everything. And then this part will be done. Then once I figure out how to do the brakes, or how I want to do the brakes, we'd run brake lines to this, and it'll be stock size. So I mean, if a brake line breaks, I just go to closest auto parts store. So I'm not doing anything too fancy with it, so I think it'll work out pretty good, saving some money this way as well. And so another thing I probably have to go get eventually today is that on my breather, this is the hose that it came with, but I had this clamp on there, the top one there, and it worked out okay. And what I was doing is that I had a piece of copper running between the plate where I drill the hole, and then the rubber line will continue. And I think it would be less complex and less stuff happening if I just try to find a straight rubber hose, and then maybe get a piece of copper or something small like a sleeve to go over it to strengthen it and keep it from rubbing. But I don't think that'll be a problem because if I have enough wiggle room while it's in there, then when it stretches out, hopefully nothing will happen either. So I'll have to go to the parts store or Lowe's or something and see if I can find a hose that will work for it. Something that's pretty thick, the walls being pretty decent size, so that doesn't happen. But we'll see how that goes. So now I got to figure out what drill bit I need and get everything set up for that. All right, easy as that. We'll see if it works. We got our brake tee, washer. I'm gonna have the T-fit, that slides in perfect. Washers, clips. Man, I'm out of it today. I need more coffee. All right. That is in there, and I could get to that perfectly and weld that. Alright, as you can see, there is our breather, and then there is the nut for the T. I'm going to have that facing upwards because the brake line is going to come down from the top. You can actually see the brake line right there where those vice grips are holding it shut. Yeah, so I'll pop out the little 110 welder and we'll weld that. I don't think it'll be too hard, but I'm saying that now, but who the hell knows anymore. Well, I did a little more than a tack, so I hope that's where it needs to go. We're gonna let that cool off, get the slag off of there, and then we'll paint her. Okay, so I went to the auto store, got me a breather filter, 12 bucks, not bad. And I got some rubber hose. When I went up there to him, I told him that I need a hose, and he asked what size. I was like, anything to fit that. So he went back there, and I told him that I want something that the walls of it are pretty thick. And so he came back with some fuel line, 5/16. The fuel line, House SAE, made in Thailand. Ooh. But it slips over the breather really easily. And I'm going to get this clamp off and clamp it on there. Then I got 4 foot because I think that'll be plenty, and I could put it up underneath the corner panel where the fuel lines are, and to where you access all that. And I think that'll be a good hidden spot up out of the way, less debris up there and all that fun stuff. Alright, so this is the hole that I drilled for the hose to go through, and it's slightly too small, so I'm going to see if I can avoid drilling by grinding it so it's more of an angle like this, so it's not as lesser of a angle, so it I guess keeps it from kinking. Does that make sense? Well, let's go for it. There you go, sweet one. Alright, that's good. Let's try a Dremel bit. Oh, gorgeous. You guys see that? Oh yeah, you do. Sweet. I'll let that cool off so I don't accidentally melt a little bit of rubber. And we'll freaking test fit her, bud. So what I did is that I just went ahead and used that nut for the breather. And I just doused it in a gasket sealer. Gasket maker. Because it's fun. No one's going to see it except for everyone that watches this, so it's kind of pointless to show you, I guess, but that's what I ended up doing. If you were to do it right, if you were to find, like, this nut fits perfectly, you would go and put it on the vise, and grind the bottom part of it to the same circumference of the I think that's the word I need to use, the outside diameter or whatever of the housing, so it sits flush. You don't have to worry about that. I didn't want to do that, and it's going to be fine. The amount of debris getting in here are going to be pretty minimal, so I'm not too worried about it. I did paint the inside though, so we can keep it from rusting. But because of that that grinder piece I used off the Dremel head, I got the hose to fit really well in there, and you can see kind of the angle I was going for. You see that there? See how if that's straight up and down, it's not a 90, so has a pretty good chance of not messing up. But I am going to pull this through right there, so I can lay that down, and I'm going to get that clamp and attempt to put it on. Actually, this is going all the way down. Those clamp slides over. And get the screwdriver. This hose is actually pretty nice. I would not have thought to use a fuel line. It was a little bit more expensive, but I don't think that made a difference. Yeah, like so, and then that's your breather. Awesome. I'm going to clamp this on there, get where I want and tack it. Alright, so it's tacked in there. So it's just going to be alright for now. The hose sticks out there good. The angle of it's pretty good. And I did not get this hot. So, rubber is going to be fine. So, basically, that does it for this video. I'll catch you guys later. And, hopefully, next video, you'll be seeing the Dana 30 get a serious upgrade. Catch you guys later.